Welcome back to the Embrace the Mud podcast. Today, we are going to be diving into a topic that is essential for maintaining a healthy relationship, and that is having the ability to express your unhappiness or disappointment to your partner in a skillful way. And I'm going to be sharing tips for just how to do that. So let's dive in. You are listening to the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we discuss all things related to healthy, joyful, and life-giving relationships. Why focus on relationships? Because the quality of our intimate partnerships and close connections influences our health, happiness, and longevity more than anything else in our lives. Relationships matter a lot. So together, let's jump into the mud, aka our messy relationships, pull some weeds, plant some seeds, and create an enriching environment where strong relationships can take root. I am your grateful host, Dara Posner. I am a relational disaster working toward relational mastery. I am also a positive psychology coach, a relational mindset coach, a blogger, and now a podcaster. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we discuss all things related to healthy, joyful, life-giving relationships. If you are a fan of this podcast, please subscribe, follow, like, review, and share. Your engagement in this way is crucial to the success of the podcast, and I appreciate you taking just a few seconds to support my mission, which is to help people like you flourish in life and love. We've all been there, haven't we? Those moments in our relationship when we are feeling dissatisfied, but we're not quite sure how to bring it up with our partner without turning our peaceful lake into a stormy sea. Well, today we're going to be exploring some tips to help you navigate these conversations with grace and understanding. So first and foremost, before you even approach your partner, the very first thing that you're going to want to do that is so important is to take a moment for self-reflection. You know, we all contribute to the dynamics of our relationships, and acknowledging your part is a key piece to opening the door to effective communication. You want to ask yourself, what role have I played in the current state of my relationship? And you want to be really honest with yourself here. Why this is so important is because it's possible that you could be in a mode of feeling angry and frustrated and maybe even bitter toward your partner. And you might feel critical of them. Maybe you are in your mind blaming them for the way that you feel or the current situation. And maybe you're having some judgmental and shaming thoughts in your mind about them. And the energy that carries will absolutely be communicated even if you don't say critical things or shaming things. But the way that your physiology and your posture will be in that conversation will communicate more about how you feel to your partner than your words will. And they will feel that, and then that is likely to put them on the defensive and cause the conversation to spiral out in a direction that you don't want it to go. So sort of neutralizing your energy and maybe even stepping into a more gracious energetic space, a curious energetic space, and one that is more compassionate and open is really, really going to help you. Then once you've been able to do that, you can approach your partner. And when you do, it's so important to communicate from a place of your own feelings and your own experience. Using I statements can be really, really helpful with this. And that essentially, you really just want to speak from your heart and speak for yourself about yourself. So instead of saying something like, you always make me feel neglected, you would want to say something more along the lines of, I've been feeling a bit neglected lately, and I'd like to talk about it. When you're clear about what's making you unhappy, you want to be really specific. It's a little bit like having a map when you're navigating a new city. It helps you get to where you want to go. You wouldn't say, I want to go to a restaurant, right? Without specifying the name and the location, right? So similarly, you want to tell your partner exactly what's bothering you and what you need to see changed or have be different for greater fulfillment and satisfaction. So for example, instead of saying, I wish that you were more romantic, you could try saying something like, I'd love it if we could plan a romantic date night next week. And here's the secret sauce. You want to express your feelings, you want to be specific about your desires, and you want to communicate your love. You want to have a good mix of vulnerability and assurance for your partner in the conversation. Let your partner know that you value the relationship, and that's why you're bringing up these concerns. You could say something like, I love you and I am committed to us, and I believe we can make our relationship even better by working through this together. And lastly, after you have taken that time to self-reflect, you have communicated about your feelings, your experience, you've been specific about what you want, now you want to make a request, not a demand. This is like extending a hand on to a dance, right? You're on the dance floor and you extend your hand rather than pulling your partner onto the dance floor with you. A request is respectful and gives your partner the choice to respond positively. So for instance, instead of demanding, you need to spend more time with me, you could try saying, would you be willing to spend some quality time together this weekend? So in conclusion, remember that it's not just about expressing your dissatisfaction, but it's about how you express it. You really want to be mindful of your energy and what's going on, in your feeling state before you approach your partner. And then once you do, you want to speak from your own feelings and refer to your own experience. You want to be specific about what it is that you feel, what it is that's bothering you, and what you'd like to see happen. And you want to express your love and make requests. Thank you so much for joining me on the Embrace the Mud podcast today. If you want to stay connected to me, please seek me out on Instagram. My handle is @EmbraceTheMud, and I would love to connect with you there. Don't hesitate to slide into my DMs. Say hello, introduce yourself. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review if you haven't already. Share this episode with someone that you think might benefit from it. Until the next time, may your conversations be filled with understanding, kindness, and love. And may you always remember that you are wired for love and connection. You are capable of love and connection. You are worthy of love and connection. I'll see you next time.